Top 10 legendary V8s that ruled the muscle car era. When it comes to muscle cars, the heart and soul lie under the hood. These legendary engines didn't just power cars, they ignited an era of raw horsepower and untamed performance. Let's dive into some of the most iconic power plants that ruled the streets and the strip. Number 10. Chevrolet L88 427. This legend was a fire-breathing monster that turned the Corvette from a stylish sports car into a street-legal race machine. While Chevrolet rated it at 430 horsepower, real-world figures pushed closer to 500. It packed high compression 12.5:1 aluminum head design, a radical solid lifter cam, and a monstrous Holley 4-barrel carburetor. But Chevy didn't want weekend warriors getting their hands on it, so they stripped it of comforts like air conditioning and power steering. The L88 was built for one thing: winning. Its aggressive tuning made it difficult to handle in everyday traffic, with a weak cooling system that could lead to overheating. But in the right hands, this engine was an unstoppable force. Whether dominating at the drag strip or tearing up the racetrack, the L88 cemented itself as one of Chevy's greatest engineering feats. Number 9. Pontiac 389. Next was the spark that ignited the muscle car era. When Pontiac stuffed this powerhouse into the GTO in 1964, it changed the game forever. With up to 368 horsepower and 428 foot-pounds of torque, the 389 wasn't just about power, it was about accessibility. Unlike high-end performance cars, this engine put serious muscle into the hands of everyday drivers. One of its most famous configurations was the tri-power setup, featuring 3 2-barrel carburetors that delivered insane throttle response. The 389 became an icon, making the GTO the must-have car for street racers and weekend warriors. Its cast-iron block was built to handle serious abuse, and its pushrod V8 design kept maintenance straightforward. More than just an engine, the 389 was a cultural phenomenon, a statement that muscle cars were here to stay. It remains one of the most legendary power plants in muscle car history. Thanks for coming to Classic American Auto. We value your time, and we love to know what you think, so let us know in the comments, and hit that subscribe button if you want to see more. Number 8. Ford 428 Cobra Jet. Ford needed a powerhouse to take on the likes of Chevy and Pontiac, and they found their answer in the 428 Cobra Jet. This 7.0-liter brute, introduced in 1968, was Ford's secret weapon in the horsepower wars. While it was officially rated at 335 horsepower, real-world output was closer to 410. With a fortified bottom end, high-flow heads, and a Holley 4-barrel carburetor, the Cobra Jet could turn any Mustang, Torino, or Fairlane into a street dominator. It was designed for brutal acceleration, producing 460 foot-pounds of torque, enough to send the rear tires into a screaming frenzy at every stoplight. Unlike some high-strung race engines, the 428 Cobra Jet was built to handle daily driving while still packing a lethal punch on the track. It became the heart of the legendary 1969 to 1970 Mustang Mach 1, cementing its place in muscle car lore. Number 7. Dodge 440 6-pack. Dodge now entered the muscle car wars. They did it with a philosophy of bigger is better. The 440 6-pack was the perfect example, a 7.2-liter powerhouse featuring 3 Holley 2-barrel carburetors. Rated at 390 horsepower and 490 foot-pounds of torque, it delivered brutal acceleration without the high-maintenance headaches of the Hemi. The 6-pack setup was pure genius, allowing drivers to cruise on the center carb to save gas and unleash full power when they need it. Found in legends like the Dodge Super Bee and Plymouth Roadrunner, the 440 6-pack was built for straight-line speed. Its cast-iron block and forged internals made it incredibly durable, capable of handling serious modifications. While it may not have had the prestige of the 426 Hemi, the 440 6-pack proved to be an affordable alternative that could still dominate the quarter mile. Number 6. Oldsmobile 455 Rocket. This one might not be the first name that comes to mind for muscle cars, But the 455 Rocket was a torque monster that demanded respect. Introduced in 1970, this 7.5-liter beast produced up to 400 horsepower and a staggering 500 foot-pounds of torque. The 455 Rocket was the heart of the 442 W30, a muscle car that could hold its own against the best from Chevy, Ford, or Dodge. It featured a high-lift cam, performance-tuned cylinder heads, and a cold air induction system called the W Machine setup. Unlike some high-strung performance engines, the 455 Rocket delivered massive torque right from idle, making it a street-fighting legend. Its cast-iron construction meant it could take serious abuse, while its deep-breathing heads allowed for easy modifications. This engine proved that Oldsmobile could build a muscle car as ferocious as any of the big boys. Number 5. Ford 427 Cammer. Sometimes a manufacturer builds an engine so potent that it even scares them, and the Cammer was so extreme that even NASCAR feared it. Designed as Ford's answer to Chrysler's 426 Hemi, this single overhead cam beast produced a staggering 616 horsepower and 575 foot-pounds of torque in race trim. Its massive chain-driven camshaft, high-flow heads, and aggressive valve timing made it one of the most advanced V8s of its time. However, NASCAR saw it as an unfair advantage and banned it before it could hit the track. Though it never raced in NASCAR, the Camry found a home in drag racing, where it dominated with insane quarter-mile times. Ford never put it in a production car, leaving enthusiasts to wonder what could have been. Today, the 427 Camry remains one of the most legendary and elusive muscle car engines, an engineering marvel that was too wild for its time, but continues to be a symbol of raw Ford performance. Number 4. Pontiac SD455. Here was a muscle car engine that refused to die, even as emissions regulations threatened the entire industry. Introduced in 1973, this Super Duty power plant was essentially a race engine that somehow made it onto the streets. With a factory rating of 370 horsepower and 500 foot-pounds of torque, the SD455 was a last hurrah for big block muscle. It featured reinforced internals, high-flow heads, and a radical camshaft that gave it a lopey idle and a brutal power curve. Found in the 1973 to 1974 Firebird Trans Am, the SD455 was a defiant scream against the tightening regulations of the 1970s. While other manufacturers were dialing back performance, Pontiac doubled down, creating an engine that remains one of the most revered in muscle car history. Number 3. Chrysler 426 Hemi. This Hemi, also known as the Elephant engine, was the undisputed king of muscle car motors. Introduced in 1964, this 7.0-liter monster was designed for NASCAR dominance, but quickly became a street legend. With a factory rating of 425 horsepower and 490 foot-pounds of torque, real-world figures often exceeded those numbers. Its hemispherical combustion chambers provided superior airflow and efficiency, giving it an edge over the competition. The 426 Hemi powered some of the most iconic Mopars, including the Dodge Charger, Plymouth Barracuda, and the legendary Superbird. While expensive and difficult to maintain, the Hemi's reputation was unmatched. It was the heart of drag racing dominance and remains one of the most sought-after engines in muscle car history. Number 2. Buick 455 Stage 1. Buick wasn't usually known for muscle cars, but the 455 Stage 1 proved that they could play with the big boys. Debuting in 1970, this 7.5-liter powerhouse produced 360 underrated horsepower and an earth-shaking 510 foot-pounds of torque, the highest torque figure of any muscle car engine of its time. Found in the Buick GSX, this engine was a sleeper hit, combining luxury with brutal performance. With aggressive cam timing, high-flow heads, and a Quadra Jet 4-barrel carb, the 455 Stage 1 was a force to be reckoned with. Unlike some high-revving competitors, Buick's big block delivered instant torque, making it a menace at stoplights. Though often overshadowed by Chevy and Mopar offerings, the 455 Stage 1 proved that Buick could build a muscle car engine that deserved respect. And finally at number 1, we have the Chevrolet 454 LS6. And here we are, the king of the hill. This Chevy was the ultimate expression of muscle car insanity. Found in the legendary 1970 Chevelle SS, this 7.4-liter big block delivered a staggering 450 horsepower and 500 foot-pounds of torque, making it the most powerful factory engine of its era. Unlike some high-performance engines reserved for race teams, the LS6 was available to anyone willing to check the right boxes at the dealership, bringing supercar-level performance to the streets. Built to withstand serious punishment, the LS6 featured 4-bolt mains, forged internals, a high-lift solid lifter cam, and an 800 CFM Holley carb perched atop an aluminum intake. This engine wasn't just about straight-line speed, it was a street-legal drag strip weapon that could take on anything in its path. The LS6 Chevelle SS became a legend, a true king in the muscle car wars, and one of the most feared machines to ever prowl the pavement. All these engines weren't just mechanical marvels. They were cultural icons that defined an era of no-holds-barred American performance. They made muscle cars more than just vehicles. They made them legends. Whether you're a die-hard Chevy fan, a Ford loyalist, or a Mopar maniac, one thing is for sure. The golden age of muscle cars gave us some of the most unforgettable engines ever built. Thanks for coming to Classic American Auto. We value your time and love to know what you think, so let us know in the comments. And hit that subscribe button if you want to see more. We'll see you next time here at Classic American Auto.